Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our series of Shiurim Binyanim Avodas Hamidos and Avodas Hashem, and we are in the Sefer Ali Shiur, learning about Kavod. We've already had numerous Shiurim on the union of Kavod, and now we're going to continue by discussing the very important issue of Kavod Ishto, of honoring one's wife. The closer you are to somebody, the more difficult it is to be mechabe them. You just get used to them. They're always around. That's why when you see couples, you usually don't see them giving each other so much kavod. Usually not. Sometimes yes, sometimes yes. But a lot of times, they've been living together for so many years and they're so used to each other. There isn't that, and the same kavod maybe she had on the second date for him, or him for her. If you meet somebody once in a blue moon, it can be mechabed. Very chashuv rav comes in, it can be mechabed. But to be mechabed, somebody you see on a day-to-day basis, kashem out. Friends, when you see a friend all the time, you see him every day in shul, so you get used to him. Neighbors, constantly, hey. It's hard to be mechabed. Sometimes when you first meet somebody, you speak to them with great chashivus, and then the second time, a little bit less, and the third time, a little bit less. And then as time goes on, I've had that experience. I hope I'm mechabed everybody always. But I know the other way, that when people first met me, it's chashuv, vermin, and they get to know me a little bit more. And instead of, they used to speak in the third person, not that I told them to, or I like that, but they did. Then they speak directly, and then it's just Ehrman, no more Rav or Rabbi, and then they don't speak to you anymore. And so it is. They give you great respect, invite you to your house, put you at the head of the table, and then after a while at the side of the table, and then they stop inviting you. And that's the way it is. You get to know somebody. They go down, and then out. But the best way is to be mechabed everybody. Not only people who call rabbi, every human being. Particularly one's wife, one's husband. And that's not easy. Because when you live with somebody, you also see all their chesronos. And you know their weaknesses. You know what they lack. You know their problems. You know what annoys you about them. And you just don't have this reverence for them that is often an outgrowth of distance. But when you see them every day, 50 times a day, and you hear them burping, you see them going into the bathroom, coming out of the bathroom, you see their dirty socks, whatever it may be. You see them losing their temper. You see them being lazy. You see them being lackadaisical. You see them being not polite. Whatever. You see that they're a human being. Everybody's a human being. So you have to start with. You're giving somebody kavod. You have to realize with all the kavod I'm giving, they're a human being. So I'm just going to allow this person to be human, and I'm not going to stop being mechabed them because they have faults. Because if you stop giving somebody respect because they have faults, then you can just completely discard and shelf the entire notion of kavod forever, because everybody has faults. Says Rav Volben is Ali Shiur. The Kavod Ishto hu chiyuv ve'echrech kol gadol. It's so important to be mechabed one's wife. It's a famous letter of the Chazon Ish, where he talks about how much a woman wants her husband to love her and to appreciate her and to respect her. And if he doesn't do it, then who's going to do it? How many other husbands does she have? Bigamy might be permitted according to the strict letter of the Torah law, as we see in the Chumash. There were men with more than one wife, but it's been since forbidden. So we don't have more than one wife. But no woman has ever been allowed to have more than one husband. So no matter what you look, where you're coming from, you're going to be the only guy. So if you're the only guy and she's not getting it from you what she needs, then where's she going to get it? says in the Gemara in Yevamis, Daf Samach Beis, Amid Beis, Tan Rabbanan oev ishto kagufo, ve'amachabde yoser migufa. You have to love your wife as much as yourself, and you have to be mechabed her more than you're mechabed yourself. Chulin Pei Dalet Amid Beis, a less well-known Gemara. La'olam yochal adam b'yishta pachos mima sheyesh lo, v'yobash v'yizkase b'ma sheyesh lo, v'yichabed ishto banav yoser mima sheyesh lo. A person should eat and drink less than what he has. He has a certain amount. You don't have to eat everything and drink everything you got. No. Not for you. Where, when you clothe yourself with what you have, that you can spend whatever you need to clothe yourself. But when it comes to his wife and his children, more than what you have. More than what you have. Beyond your means to support your wife and children. If you want a new outfit, and it's beyond your means, you say, perfect, it's a Gemara in Chulin. Go get it. I'd say, buy it for her. But women, I don't think today women want you to buy them clothing. They buy your wife clothing. I once tried it. Men don't really know the women's styles. They don't know the women's sizes. I don't know. I went into the store. I didn't even know sizes. What is her size? I don't know. I'm a 15 and a half neck. So, do you have 15 and a half neck? No, but, I didn't know. So the lady in the store, she was like about the same size as my wife, more or less. Maybe a little shorter. Different color, but you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what color the person is when you're buying clothing, right? Just you're looking at the size, not the color. Anyway, so I asked this African-American lady about the sizes. Yeah, she told me, Baruch, I bought it. But I learned from there, give money. And then with the money, they can buy clothing. And how much money you have, give them more. From some poskim, it's mashman that the kavod is with clothing, with jewelry. From other poskim, it's a chiyuv klali of kavod. It says in Maseches Kala, Ava b'leiv v'kavod b'maisim. Love is in your heart, and kavod is with your deeds. And it makes sense that the ikar shalom bayis is talui, and how much a husband is mechabed his wife. Very important. Where does this kavod come from? So we discussed in the previous year. When you recognize someone's internal value, you express that externally, that's kavod. You know her positive qualities, and her wisdom, and her spirituality, and her kindness, and her goodness, whatever it is. Everybody on their level, so many different midos. She's a good cook. She cleans well. She takes care of the kids. She's good at her job. She's pleasant to be with. She's good looking. Whatever it may be. And whatever it is, you're mechabed her. Well, that's not an internal midah, but you can also be mechabed her for that. Make her feel good about that. Not maybe, definitely. And every person has to learn their spouse, their wife, their husband, how they want you to be mechabed them. The famous expression, person's ratzon is their kavod. What they want is their kavod. So if your parent wants something, you get it for them. That's kibbut avei. When your spouse wants, you get it. Kavod spouse. Chazon Ish writes in a letter on the how to act in the first year. Sometimes you act with such, respect. It's like distance. And he says no. He says you could joke around with her, b'tichos hadas. You're close. You're married, so you should chill with her or him. So there has to be kiruv, closeness. So on one hand, there's machabda yosim mikufa. On the other hand, there's closeness. So a person has to find that balance between, on one hand, honoring, showing respect, dignity, and on the other hand, being cool with the person, being close, friendly, warm. And to appreciate what she does for you. Like Chazal say, women raise the children. Every man knows he's, left with the kids to babysit for a few hours. Not easy for most guys. You're wiping this one's nose and this one's something else and going to prepare food for them, and they're fighting, and you're here and you're there. And then your wife comes home and, why do men have to daven 3 times a day with a minion? Because Chazal Rahman Asanas, they knew we needed to escape the house. So, that was a joke. So, they raise the children. They go through the 9 months of pregnancy. I don't know any guy who did that. And then they're nursing. I don't know any guy who's doing that. And the primary caregiver, just about every family, is the wife. There are periods sometimes where she's in medical school, so he ends up taking care of the kid a lot. But ultimately, more hours are going to be spent with the mother than with the father. Raising our children, and they save us from sin. Man doesn't have a wife. He can go out of his mind, or he can sin. So she does that, and then with everything else she does, figure out how many meals a wife makes for her husband in a lifetime. She's a good wife. Has to appreciate that. How many times she washed his dirty undershirts. Has to appreciate that. And it goes the other way. She has to appreciate him, everything he does. The children they have, they wouldn't have without him. He takes 2 to make a child. Parnasa he brings in, companionship he gives, helps in the house, whatever it may be. And that creates more kavod. So that is, just in a few words, in a few minutes, a little bit about Kavod Ishto, Kavod Abal, and we should be zoche, that we should have, our homes should be filled with kavod and with ava. It says, Orech Yamim, Aspiyeyu, Achaltzeu B'Achavdeyu. It says in the pasuk, Achaltzeu B'Achavdeyu. First I'll be mechaletz, I'll save him, and then I'll be mechabe. So a person, it's not enough for a person to be taken out of their tzara, but a person also wants the kavod afterwards. So there's a lot to say about that, but it's a very, very critical midah. And Amir Hashem in future shiurim, Hashem gives the koach and the moach, we will continue our discussion of this midah. And we should be zocha little more l'lamed lishma v'la'as l'kaim is called every sam l'torah to be hava. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.